They don't know what that means either. How many people, I always do this every time, how many people, this is your first time in the Great Room? Well, welcome to the Great Room. This beautiful redesigned church has now been turned into a data center and meeting hall. Revival and a really weird dream of a man who loved books a little bit too much. Behind you, you see actual servers serving actual data. When they blink, something is going on. Maybe a little less today, but it is actually happening. And behind us are other servers, and I mean, we're very popular on the internet, so yeah, we do pretty well. And some of you, inside of your heads, trying to be really good guests, are saying, where's the history of what's with the creepy little people?
Yeah.
If you work at the Internet Archive for 3 years, we make a little statue of you. Because we don't have stock options. And so that's it, that's what that is. And we have so many people, and we'll talk about the people who are, been working very hard, but these are also people who have worked very hard. Some of them have spent a short time at the archive, some have been here as long as a quarter century plus, working on this dream. And what a dream. Isn't it wonderful to walk into a real manifestation of the Internet Archive? He of course doesn't want to say this, but Chris Freeland is the person who's been working so hard to put this particular show together this year. Absolutely the Sondheim of Internet Archive Productions, and he's doing amazing work. But we had a call together on Sunday of like, do we completely change our setup? And he was ready. He'd already cooked it up. And Brewster said, no, we go on. We go on, and we go on because we go on because we don't stop what we're doing. Literature is not a stack of books, and music is not a stack of instruments, and the Internet Archive is not a stack of servers. It is a set of beautiful cultural works and the people who work for it and use it and make it part of their lives, and they're still here. So we're gonna stay here. We put together a show this year to talk about what we've been up to and our thoughts and projects we've worked on, and along the theme of escaping the memory hole of how we avoid things disappearing. So in the same way that we say, we'll be back, we'll say, here we are to learn about what the Internet Archive is up to. Again, I'm eye candy. We're going to thank them elsewhere, but I want them to be thanked too many times. There have been some really talented people who came to the archive to get nonprofit salaries to work really hard towards a dream, who are now working, startup mega stock option hours, and have been doing so nonstop for weeks. And so I just want to shout out to them. The phrase gets thrown around, they're the real heroes. They are the ones, and I know that they've been working. It is very, very, very hard to take something that people have been watching for 28 years and turn it into version next immediately. And, I have been enjoying the conspiracy theories though. So, I'm not responding to them, but oh my God. I'm not authorized to answer to any of them, but it's really seriously not about P. Diddy. Okay, all right, good, excellent. Anyway, we're gonna have an absolutely wonderful time tonight, and I thank you all for coming out, enjoying yourself. We're gonna cover a bunch of things. It's not going to be a long time. You're not gonna be here tomorrow looking at each other. You're gonna have a good, solid time because Chris runs a tight ship. Thanks so much for coming. Let's enjoy the Internet Archive.
Okay. We're off schedule just a little bit here, but Connie Chan, our supervisor for our district, is here. This is the woman that said when we were protesting here in front of the Internet Archive to try to give digital rights to libraries, She came and said, "How can I help? I've got an idea." This is a time when libraries are under attack. This is defunding. There's laws being passed in all sorts of states and cities, halls, to go and make it a criminal to be a librarian, to go and have the books that our children need in our libraries. This is a time that libraries are not feeling very well supported by their legislators. And Connie asked, "How can I help?" And isn't that great? And so what she did is she wrote a resolution and to go and support all libraries and all digital libraries and digital lending by libraries, and got it passed unanimously by all of the supervisors in San Francisco. And we had no idea she was going to come tonight. And so there was a little table outside, and then she showed up and said, "Yay, Connie's here!" And then she said, "Hey, I've got something for you. Can I give it to you?" And we said, "Okay, let's hijack the program and say yes."
Thank you for saying yes. But what's more important is let's say yes to Internet Archive. Let's say yes. And I want to say Brewster is the brain, the soul and the heart of Internet Archive, but so is everyone who works here and support Internet Archive. And please continue to support them, because our democracy and our humanity all counts on your support for Internet Archive, because an institution like Internet Archive that really keeps it going. So please continue to support them like we have at the Board of Supervisors, and it is my honor to celebrate them today. And please continue to celebrate them, not just today, but let's do it every day to make sure that Internet Archive and institutions like Internet Archive continues worldwide. Thank you.
And now, Amandari, on with the show. On with the show, buddy. On with the show. On with the show.
In an age of limitless information, our digital culture feels infinite, yet it's more fragile than ever. GeoCities, Gawker, Pets.com, and TV News. Even news outlets from Turkey and Hong Kong. Sites we once relied on for entertainment, journalism, and information, now erased from the live web. Once thriving, these websites held vast amounts of cultural knowledge and history. Now, they're gone, lost to link rot and corporate takedowns. This is the reality of link rot. With millions of dead links scattering across the web every year. This is just one example of how our cultural heritage erodes over time without active preservation. Books, music, movies, television, and much more are all at risk due to changing technologies and physical degradation. What happens when the websites or books you rely on simply vanish? What happens when knowledge disappears into the memory hole? That's where the Internet Archive comes in. With over 800 billion web pages per day, we've built a time machine for the web, so that nothing truly disappears. Our vast digital archive of petabytes of data also preserves books, music recordings, movies, video games, and much, much more. With every site we save, with every resource we preserve, we safeguard culture, knowledge, and memories for the generations to come. Without the work of the Internet Archive and libraries like it, the memory hole would only deepen. More and more of our digital and cultural heritage would disappear. What we lose today, future generations can never get back. Join us in ensuring that our collective memory escapes the memory hole.
Hi, my name is Amadari Karaka, and my childhood memories are at risk of being erased. Let me explain. I was an internet kid, and it feels like the web and I grew up together. This is back when flash games took off and media outlets found their footing online. And as it got bigger, it offered me endless options. During summer breaks, I could play educational games and use search engines to look up almost anything. And then, as a teenager, I could connect with my peers on social media with Twitter and Instagram. I could also shop online, finally, filling my cart on Forever21.com with graphic tees for old movies I loved, like Carrie and 2001: A Space Odyssey. But with all that growth, my experiences from the early internet started to vanish. I got older, and occasionally I'd remember things like browsing MTV News when it first launched, or playing Dexter Flash games on Cartoon Network's website. But these memories feel like a Mandela effect. Vague recollections I'm not sure were ever real. Let me give you an example. One day, my sister asked me, "Do you remember the Mary-Kate and Ashley Mall game?" And I did, vaguely. I remembered small moments of what I associated with the game, but nothing concrete enough to confirm how much time I had spent playing or how much I had even enjoyed it. We both sat there in that moment realizing that so much of what we've experienced online has vanished, and it's left behind these fragmented memories. And I've tried to revisit these experiences, but most of those websites are now gone, or poorly maintained, or even replaced by smartphone apps that lack the original content I was looking for. This is a cycle I've gone through countless times, and it's made me question whether these early internet memories are real or just imagined. Okay, now imagine that for our news. Significant pieces of truth that define our history and allow us to try and make sense of the world are being wiped from the face of our collective memory every day. It's scary stuff, right? But don't worry, the story doesn't end in doom and gloom. When I joined the Internet Archive team a year and a half ago, I finally found some of these old games, like Dexter's Runaway Robot, or Mary-Kate and Ashley's Mall game, and more, thanks to preservation efforts from partners like Ruffle, programs like the Wayback Machine, and other incredible projects I probably haven't even discovered. It was like recovering all of these pieces of my childhood, and it reminded me how much of our past can slip away as the web evolves, but also how much we can do to save it on both a personal and a macro level. So tonight, we're here to celebrate preservation. And who better to talk about the amazing digital preservation efforts we all depend on every day than the founder and digital librarian of the Internet Archive. Please join me in welcoming back to the stage, Rooster Kale.
Thank you ever so much. And yes, we're going to be there for you. We're going to make it so that actually your past, your culture is just not wiped away or just dropped on the ground by corporations. We're a library, and we do what libraries do. We're going to talk about preservation tonight and where it's going. But first, I think I should say a little bit about kind of what the last couple weeks has been about. Next. That. So a couple weeks ago, we got hit with a cyber attack. And we took the site offline to basically try to figure out, oops, what happened? How hard hit are we? What's actually going on? And it's just a really sad day to have to go to your website and see this. We got the Wayback Machine up quite quickly, but we had to go and look around and try to figure out, do the forensics, the repairs, to go and come back. And basically there are some services that are coming back, and I'm really happy to say that that is what our website looks like now. Let's hope that it stays that way for a long, long time. But I'd say we're still bringing parts of the service back up as we can do it safely. And it's been an amazingly difficult period for a lot of people on staff here. It's been really heartening, though, to see the supporters really come behind trying to get the Internet Archive back up and running, and the tolerance you've had for not actually having access to all your Ruffle games. So thank you very much. So now let's go on. So I thought when I first got into this whole area 40 years ago, the idea of building a library was mostly a technical task. That preservation was mostly a technical thing. You know, you gotta do a good job of it, you know, buried in the desert, maybe for safekeeping. But it's like, it's just not that hard. Boy, was I wrong. What I found, it's a much more interesting and challenging project. And I think a lot of people, when they think of digital preservation, they think of only one component. And I thought I'd just go over sort of a list of things that I found that are required to all work together to be able to digitally preserve our culture and make it continue to be relevant to a new generation. It starts with the analog, of trying to get the analog materials online. And it turns out to be actually quite challenging. A lot of it is because of all of the relationships that it takes to work with those that have been custodians of the analog world and trying to get access to these. The rights issues are always thorny. The technical issues are always changing. But trying to get the analog materials to be preserved is also really hard. If you take the way the library system goes and puts them on shelves, that's great, except when they want the space back, they go and deaccession those materials, or they put them in off-site repositories. The off-site repositories are extremely expensive, so they fill them up and they need to do something else with them. So we've not only gotten good at digitizing materials, but there's now a new organization that is mission aligned that does the long-term preservation of millions of books, music, and video. And so at scale, probably 1 to 2 shipping containers a week come in to be long-term preserved and prepared for digitization, and then after digitization, long-term storage again. So hooray!
Hooray!
So that's what preserving analog materials. Then there's going and doing born digital materials. This is completely great. So a story, our very first web crawl in 1996 was in partnership with the Smithsonian Institution when we tried to argue and we talked to them and said, hey, this web might come to something. And they said, you know, you're right. It might be like the next bumper sticker of presidential elections or the next pin. So let's go work together and archive the 1996 presidential election campaign websites. And it was Dole and Kemp was running, or Ross Perot and Clinton. And we did this archive and they put it on the computer next to the first bumper sticker they had. So anyway, but collecting born digital was new, at least to us, but I think a lot of other people. Or how do you go and take floppies and make these things available over long periods of time? It's really, really challenging. What we found is the key component to being able to do this is partnerships. To take these materials is now a joint project of about 1,300 libraries that we're working directly with to go and build the web collection, and to go and build a television collection, and to build the software collections of born digital materials, things that were never available. So it's not just sort of a heroic effort of the Internet Archive does it all. not at all. It's a gigantic community effort to try to collect the Born Digital. When people mostly think about doing digital preservation, they just think about the bits. How are we going to go and preserve the bits? And so there's, okay, we should use DNA or whatever, and they're right. But it's challenging. Every 5 years, we've got to go and refresh the collection. And we have to have not only the technology and the money, but the people that want to do it, to go and make these bits available forever. And if you turn and the little blinking lights, the green row, but all the little blue lights are actual, this is about 15 petabytes, or about 10% of the primary copy of the Internet Archive is running in this room. So the idea is to go and do these preservation steps, then make copies other places to be able to do long-term preservation of bits. What is required, though, is ongoing, coordinated, supported activity over decades. And this group is, I think, doing a fabulous job of this. If you just collect the bits, they're kind of sterile, and so like, okay, so you can point to the hard drives, and it's great. But then there's going and making it so it's in links, and the context and the collections are whole and complete, so you know what you're looking at. You talk to librarians and you just say, how many books do you have? They don't think that way in general. We think in terms of collections, and are they complete and able to roll together. So we've been working, for instance, with Wikipedia to go and fix broken links. In the Wikipedia, we've fixed over 20 million broken links. So the idea is to go and weave things back into the web. If there was something we really learned from this cyber attack that knocked us offline, is people really need this. So I'm sorry for letting them down, but it's nice that they actually realize it now. So we're moving along. And another is to weave not only web pages back into the show, but also books. So for instance, to go and take Wikipedia articles that might link to pictures of books, can we go and weave this all back together again to make a digital whole together? So the idea of not just having the bits, but to have the whole context as well. Another step that we're making is to go and put context banners, to go and have it so that people start to know what it is they're looking at. So there are many fact-checking organizations, but who goes to fact-checking sites to go and look at things? So we're weaving them actually into the Wayback Machine in these interesting ways to go and have these pages that are declared as true, and then make it so that it's easy to go and find, nope, not so much. Or here's the counter issues that are around this. So what libraries do is they try to go and reproduce materials as is, but then also provide context so we kind of know what we're looking at over time. Another aspect that has been really challenging for us is dealing with format obsolescence. So not only just keeping the bits alive, but keeping them usable. So if you have a IBM PC game, like the awesome Prince of Persia, how are you going to do that if your old IBM PC doesn't work anymore? Some formats you can just make new versions of, like movies going forward, but others you have to emulate. Jason Scott, who started this off, really had this idea that I thought was crazy, to go and get these emulators that are written in C, cross-compile it into JavaScript, bring it into your browser, boot an IBM PC in your browser, and then use the Internet Archive as a giant floppy drive, and be able to get to see Prince of Persia. And it worked! Yay! Formats sort of keep coming back around. And another is Flash. Even in our time, Flash was very, very popular, and it was underneath a lot of other people's creative works. So unlike books where you could go to hold on to it forever if you bought it, what happens when you have a game on top of a platform, Adobe Flash, that Adobe doesn't want to support anymore? Well, these are proprietary software packages. And there was a group named Ruffle that started to make an emulator for these old Adobe Flash games and spinning things and all of the things that we grew up with. And to their credit, Adobe said, go for it. Absolutely, we will support the idea of emulators of our intellectual property. Good behavior on part of large corporations, so let's just celebrate Adobe. So going in and preserving formats would then be able to make it so that next generation can go and experience these things within a world that they that they would know. But we're not done yet. There's also going and trying to preserve the actual institutions themselves. So we ran for 28 years, and then in the beginning of the pandemic, 4 of the world's largest book publishers decided it was time to sue us because we were making a single copy of some books that were older books available to people from our library. So this was a really difficult wake-up call, and really put in question what's going to happen to libraries and what's going to happen to us. And so this attack came in. It's still ongoing, going through the courts. But even as that one just got to the first level, then we started to see other problems. So this one. So we've been digitizing 78 RPM records after having socialized it by going to the conferences and getting generally supportive support from the music industry of, yes, let's get 78s of these 100-year-old formats, obsolete format up online, and instead of thinking of, okay, we'll take down these particular ones, and we would have, they slammed us with a lawsuit for hundreds of millions of dollars. So either they're trying to make a heck of a lot of money off of us, which they seem to be, or they want us dead, which they seem to be. So we're having levels of attacks on the Internet Archive over the last years from these major corporations. And then we get to get hit with a cyber attack a couple of weeks ago. And the Washington Post wrote it up, and I say they're right, that we are under siege, that libraries are under attack. But we're not the only ones. So it turns out that the Seattle Public Library also has been hit by cyber attack 4 months ago. They're mostly back up. Calgary Public Library got hit 2 weeks ago, and their computer systems are still knocked offline. Toronto Public Library system got hit about 6 months ago, and they're mostly back up. The British Library got hit a year ago, and they have most of their services back up now a whole year on. So libraries are under attack. We've heard about the book bannings, the defundings. Now we're getting publishers going and not selling ebooks or music to libraries, even though they want to support their local communities of authors. They're only doing these license deals that are escalating in prices, and it's a problem. So we have a real problem at the library system level, that libraries are not building digital collections. You're not allowed to buy ebooks. So this is a basic problem for the infrastructure of our library system. So what should we do about this? we need to go and assert the rights of digital libraries to do our work. That we basically take these bad news situations and we go and resecure our support within the legislature and the judiciary, not just in the United States, but around the world. That we fight for digital rights for libraries. Can you say that? Digital rights.
Digital rights for libraries.
And I think it only comes down to 4 points. One, we need to be able to collect materials. We need to be able to preserve materials. We need to be able to lend materials, and we need to be able to interoperate with other libraries. It's what libraries have always done. If we get this to happen, then all the rest follows. So, if you're trying to think of what can you do, it seems kind of daunting that there's all these things to try to get done. Well, pick a brick and make some progress on it. Pick a brick. It's going to start with you. That you guys are going to be the analog preservation, born digital, bits, links in context, format conversion, supporting the Internet Archive, please. Support your library system and let's go and get the law and policies we need to have a library system that is struggling to evolve into the digital era based on all of this pushback. We need you to be invigorated to be able to make this whole stack of preservation work so that we can deliver a library system that is as great as what frankly I got to grow up with for this next generation. So, do you know what role you should be playing? Yes, right? That there's lots of roles and possibilities for making all of this happen. So thank you very much. Mark Graham, the man behind the Wayback Machine, with a very, very large, capable team. Take it away, Mark.
Thank you very much, Bruce, and welcome here, everyone. So I am privileged to be able to share a few thoughts and updates with you about the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine. And well, first of all, I guess the news is we are mostly back up. It's in a read-only mode right now, but that's okay. But most importantly is we are crawling again, and we're crawling again at scale. We are archiving much of the public web as we work to build back better, more securely. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because some of you may be asking yourself, what is this Wayback Machine, right? I mean, a few of you, I don't know. The Wayback Machine, it's a time machine for the web, and it's basically working to make the growing publicly available digital memory of our times, of all times, available to all of us. It's not just one machine, it's hundreds of machines. It's people, as has been noted and can't be spoken about too many times tonight. It's a whole team of talented engineers and supporters, many of whom have flown in this week and are here in the room with you now. It's used by millions of people around the world. But what's the problem we're trying to solve, right? I mean, consider this. A recent study at Harvard found that fully 25% of external links on New York Times articles over a 25-year period of time no longer are available on the public web, right? Just think of that. If you go back and try to read these articles, 1/4 of the links that you click on are going to give you a 404. Most recently, Pew Research, they did a study also, and they looked at web pages over the course of 10 years, and for that particular set of pages, they found that 38% of them were no longer available. Once again, returning a 404. The bottom line is that much of the material on the public web is melting before our very eyes. And this is material that's of significant importance to journalists, to researchers, to students, Indeed, anyone who might want to reference material that once was available but may no longer be there. So, enter the Wayback Machine. We archive much of the public web. We do that, as has been noted, in collaboration with many partners. I'm going to give you an example of some of them, okay? Automatic, the makers of WordPress. Reddit, a local company here. Every single Wikipedia language edition, more than 320 of them. Media Cloud, the global database of environment, language, and tone. Cloudflare, major infrastructure provider for the net. A group of Rohingya activists that were funded by the Filecoin Foundation for the decentralized web. Russian independent media journalists, supported by Bard College and PEN America. I just want to note, working with them, we have archived more than 50 million pages of Russian independent media over the last couple of years. And much of that material is not available because the Russian government is blocking it around the world. We work with the Library of Congress, the National Archives, on a project called the End of Term Archive, where we are actively preserving tens of thousands of US government sites. We're doing that right now. And then thousands of patrons that submit millions of URLs to us to say, hey, I want this page archived, please. That's our Save Page Now service. Everyone here will be able to use it as soon as we turn it back on. In total, we archive more than 500 million pages every single day, more than 900 billion pages in total. And because of that work, I can share with you a few milestones tonight. Bruce just said 20 million, it's pretty close. But we do about 10,000 a day. We got to update these slides. We've actually, we have fixed, repaired, rescued more than 22,400,000 otherwise broken links in 230 Wikipedia language editions. You might have read that Google deprecated Google Cache a few months ago. I mean, what's up with that? But the good news is that now they have added Wayback Machine links into Google search results pages. In effect, Google replaced Google Cache with the Wayback Machine. And, we're not going to get too political tonight, and I could pick any one of a number of hundreds of articles across the political spectrum to highlight. But today, CNN broke a story. The headline is, and it was apparently just on CNN television too, Donald Trump campaign manager shared post in 2021 saying that Trump's lies caused the violence on January 6th. And yes, they cited and based their reporting on archives available from the Wayback Machine. Material is no longer available on the live web. Okay. Despite this progress, we face many challenges in our efforts to archive, preserve, and make usefully available our digital world. To list just a few, every day more websites are going behind paywalls. You've heard of this line, the truth is paywall, but the lies are free? It's true. The web is growing at an extraordinary rate. It's frankly hard to keep up. And it's also true that foreign countries are blocking access to large parts of the web. The web is basically splintering. And more material is on platforms that require login prompts. Think Facebook and Instagram, right? But I'll tell you what, we are up for the challenge here. And every day we're investing more and more resources to make more of the material usefully available. If anyone here has been inspired by anything that Brewster or others are going to be on stage tonight, myself and others are sharing, please come and talk with us about how you can engage, because this is not just us, as has been said, this is a big collective effort. And I just want to share, I have a great amount of gratitude tonight. I have gratitude for everyone here, those who are watching from home. The team that's come in, as I said, is here in San Francisco from all over the world. Been working very long days. They thought they were coming in for a party. No, they've been working day and night. Our patrons, donors, people that use our service, that help support our service, and people who appreciate our services, and everyone everywhere who is just crazy enough to buy into this audacious idea of universal access to all knowledge. I mentioned how we've been fixing a lot of broken links in Wikipedia. We do a lot of work with Wikipedia. That's just one dimension of the work that we do with them. With the Wikipedia Foundation, with the Wikipedia communities, etc. This collaboration has gone on for many years, and I've gotten to know a number of Wikipedians. But one in particular is someone who's impressed me a great deal. That is Dame Rosie Stevenson Goodnight. And Dame Rosie is first of all, she's a Wikipedian extraordinaire. She's edited a ton of Wikipedia articles. She's a member of the Board of Trustees of the Wikimedia Foundation, and she's the co-founder of the Women in Red program of Wikipedia that works to get women and other gender underrepresented communities more visible within Wikipedia pages. So I am thrilled to be able to introduce Rosie. And I think she's going to tell us a little bit more about the Women in Red program and some other parts of her work. Rosie?
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for having me here. As Mark mentioned, I serve on the Board of Trustees of the Wikimedia Foundation. I'm also a visiting scholar at Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm the co-founder of Women in Red. Women in Red is a community in 33 language Wikipedias, and what we do is try to improve representation on Wikipedia for women and other minorities, and that's different kinds of representation, their biographies, but also think about their works and their issues, suffrage, women's health, and so forth. For the past 17 years, I've been a prolific volunteer Wikipedia editor, probably just like some of you. I've created more than 5,000 new articles. Of which more than 2,300 are biographies about notable women. Now, when the good folks at the Internet Archive asked me if I would come here today and say a few words about how I use the Wayback Machine in my Wikipedia work, I thought they chose the wrong person. What interesting insights could I talk about when Wikipedia plus the Wayback Machine are like the air that I breathe? I count on it. It's there for me. But on further reflection, I came to realize that not all of you would know how Wikipedia relies on the Wayback Machine. So I'll explain how it affects my work and how it affects you, and you, and you, and you, readers, Wikipedia readers, and society at large. Now, I'm a polyglot. I speak, read, write, understand a few other languages, and I enjoy translating articles from different Wikipedias into English Wikipedia. My translation work includes reviewing and verifying the references that someone somewhere in the world wrote when they created an article in a foreign language. I don't just trust the reference, I want to verify it. And I know that readers want to do the same. I rely on the Wayback Machine to address dead links. Dead URLs or links that no longer are accessible cannot be viewed and they can't be verified. It's, I know, a crisis at scale. But with the Wayback Machine, it preserves the knowledge that some Wikipedian added to an article, and I count on that with my Wikipedia work. These are just some of the women whose biographies I translated into English Wikipedia in 2024. The Wayback Machine saved dead links in their articles and will save any future dead links so that you too can verify the sources when you read these articles. Verifiability is a key pillar of Wikipedia. Knowing that the Wayback Machine has my back makes verifiability a practical reality. So I'll just keep creating more Wikipedia articles. Thank you very much.
Hi everybody, Michael Alex, MTV News. You hear it first. In June, the MTV News archive was removed from MTV.com without warning, and 25 years of music and pop culture journalism vanished. When we took MTV News digital first back in 1996, the plan was for an archive to not simply house the old work, but to be an actively used source to serve the interest and curiosity of music fans in the future. Within a year of launching, our data showed that the archive reports were being read at least as much as the news of the day. The archive wasn't simply a good thing, it was a hit. People wanted their old MTV News. Following the archive disappearing, I heard from a number of former MTV News team members. Some lamenting they were cut off from their work, others that their contribution to music history had been erased, but the most troubling conversation came from the people who built something called Mixtape Mondays. This was in-depth original reporting on unsigned and up-and-coming hip-hop artists and DJs, many of whom became major figures. Think Jay-Z, Eminem, 50 Cent, to name a few. We had documented the evolution of artists and a genre in a way that was captured nowhere else. And the team that created it, principally Shaheen Reed and Ramon Dukes, they said, our work disappearing is the least of it. Our culture is being erased. And they're not kidding. They are not kidding. It's not just about hip-hop. It's about everything from grunge to boy bands to EDM, whatever. As an organization, we had assumed that our archive would live a long and useful life. Its value was self-evident. Surely nobody's going to have the idea of getting rid of it. We were MTV News. Love us or hate us, we thought we mattered, but we were wrong. Editorial organizations have owners. Owners see archives as an asset. Their questions are, how profitable is this? What does it cost to maintain? Should we sell it? If we delete it, what kind of tax write-off can we get? They're not asking about the responsibility of owning irreplaceable records of cultural history. So when Mark Graham from the Wayback Machine reached out to me in the days following the disappearance, it was a lifeline. 400,000 pages of MTV News have been independently archived. Hard copies of journalism become increasingly rare, and the recordings of culture are up for grabs. Regarding MTV News' archive, I have it on good authority that for now it still exists. It could come back, it could be sold, it could be deleted. I'm an optimist. I think that MTV is going to find a way to bring it back. Fingers are crossed. Thank you, Wayback people, for preserving history.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Rick Prelinger, film archivist. I'm a proud board member of Internet Archive. I've been fortunate to work with Internet Archive since 2000. Together, we've built the first and only major online film archives to be fully downloadable and reusable, now holding almost 10,000 rare and unusual films that have been used by millions of people for an uncountable number of projects. Most recently, we've joined with Filecoin Foundation for the decentralized web to scan film fast and beautifully, and to store files online in a decentralized repository where many copies will help to ensure that the films survive. We focus on films that were never shown in theaters, especially home movies, vivid and entertaining time capsules of daily life, work, fun, and celebration. Film freezes time, but film is fragile. It deteriorates, sometimes faster than you can imagine. We need to intervene, we need to jump and save film while we can still see it. This means preserving film digitally. Let me tell you why this is urgent. About 8 years ago, we started scanning film in pretty good quality, not stellar, but pretty darn good. And recently, we've been going back to important films to make extremely high quality files that will last a long time. And we're learning just how quickly film can deteriorate. On the left, we see a scan that we made in 2019, and on the right, our new high-res scan from 2024. And look what happened in those 5 years. Vinegar syndrome got to these films. The base is eroding. These kids from Muskogee, Oklahoma no longer look quite as they did. 5 years. This is our beloved President FDR in a rare appearance on the back of a train, whistle-stop tour, and driving right by a home movie camera person who was a witness to history. This is 5 years. 5 years in the life of a film. This was 1939, San Francisco, the ferries. This we scanned in 2017, rather nice scan. When we went back to do our beautiful high-res image, look what happened. Film is organic material, you know, the emulsion is derived from animals, it's not vegan, and it's not very strong. And then finally, 2017, a scan of Bay Bridge construction. Look at what has happened to the film in 7 years. That's a sad story. I have to say, however, on the whole, the situation is mostly good. This is a Kodachrome film from the 1939 New York World's Fair that looks almost like it was shot yesterday. This is most of our stuff. While all our films are potentially at risk, most haven't yet deteriorated. So we have some time. But you've seen why it's urgent to scan now. Digital preservation will save these precious images, and it can't wait. So we're working hard to scan as many films as we can in a short time. And my new motto is no film left unscanned. Thank you so much. And please, the Internet Archive is all of ours. Please find ways to support it. Thank you.
And I'm so happy that the Open Library is back. So this is great. Okay, libraries made me a writer. Libraries like this one are my home. I became a writer for the chance to be part of a literary tradition many centuries old, a literary tradition protected by libraries. I make money by my writing, but I don't want money that comes at the expense of the values that made me a writer in the first place. That's why I'm so deeply opposed to last month's ruling in favor of the mega publishers against the archive. The Copyright Act was meant to protect society first and profits second, but the court got it backwards. The judges failed to protect us. They failed to protect society. They chose to protect business instead. But let me tell you something, all is not lost. If courts cannot be trusted to secure the future of libraries, and right now it seems they can't, then it falls to people with conscience and brains and a sense of history to rise up to protect libraries. That is our task now. Our task now. I have been so lucky to see in my lifetime a whole new dimension of global understanding come into being on the internet. Suddenly anyone in the world can contribute useful and beautiful insights, and images, and stories, writing, art, in a vast commons of sharing. The staggering immensity of human imagination and intelligence rose into view on the internet And it's been a glorious thing to live in the vivid light of that changed world. But that new light produced new shadows too. Repressive forces saw the power of what we've been building together, and they're for real trying to smash it. As we saw in the recent cyber attacks against the archive, the devastating attack on the British Library, and attacks on school libraries, academic libraries, book bannings, and all of these things are connected. They are strikes against freedom of information. They're strikes against freedom of human spirit. Malign forces want to control our past and thereby control our future. But we cannot let that happen. We cannot. We gotta fight it. Two big tasks lie ahead for us. The first one is fighting for legislative protections to undo the damage recently done by the courts. And secondly, as Brewster has often said, libraries must continue to own, preserve, and lend their own books. Anything less will mean that libraries are reduced to customer service centers for corporate interests that can take our books away from us anytime they want, which no. Writers can choose to sell our ebooks to libraries, and I have totally done this, and it's exciting. We're going to continue to do it. We're working on this at Brick House, which is a cooperative I helped found, and our project, Brie, right now offers thousands of quality ebooks for sale to libraries for keeps. I am so super proud and grateful to be working on these projects with friends here at the Internet Archive, Library Futures, Authors Alliance, and many other organizations. So, readers, all, raise hell. Demand that your libraries own their own ebooks. This is something that anybody can do. You can just go to the library and say, I want you to buy this, and I want to make sure it's permanent, I want to make sure it stays in the library. Nobody can take it away. I don't want licensed books, we don't want them. Writers, raise hell. Raise hell. Let's work together to make sure that all publishers will sell and not rent our ebooks to libraries. That way libraries will stay libraries. The Copyright Act says that as a writer, I am allowed exclusive rights in my work for a limited time. But after that, my work belongs to everyone, and I hope it will remain useful for a long time. That's the future that I am fighting for, one in which our work will live on in libraries, in any media, digital or paper, protected by librarians, like the great librarians here today at the Internet Archive.
Thank you very much, Maria. Yes. This is my favorite part of the night, is the Internet Archive Hero Award. So every year we think about who are the hero librarians in our midst. Who are those that are taking risks, that are doing breaking new things that are going on. And this year I would like to welcome up to the stage our friends and colleagues from the island nation of Aruba.
Distinguished members of the Internet Archive and guests. It's a great honor to address you tonight, and I'm deeply grateful to the Internet Archive for recognizing Colección Aruba with the prestigious Internet Archive Award. This is not just an award for the collection itself, but a recognition for the preservation of our cultural and historical heritage. The work that Colección Aruba has undertaken is crucial for the documentation and preservation of our nation's stories, history, and identity. Through this collection, we are ensuring that future generations have access to the wealth of knowledge and cultural richness that defines Aruba. This award highlights the importance of our digital cultural data, not just for those of us living in Aruba, but for our brothers and sisters in the diaspora as well. In our efforts to preserve and share Aruba's rich cultural heritage, we recognize that accessibility is key. By digitizing our cultural treasures and making them open and available to all, we create a bridge that connects Arubians at home with those around the world. This mission aligns beautifully with the vision of the Internet Archives, which champions the idea that knowledge and culture should be accessible to everyone. It is said that great achievements are never done by one person, but by a group of people working together towards a common goal. This recognition is a testament to the hard work, the dedication, and collective efforts of an entire team. I would like to take a moment to express my heartfelt appreciation to the dedicated Arubian professionals who have made Koleksiyong Aruba what it is today. Their commitment, their passion, and expertise have made this recognition possible, and Aruba is proud of each and every one of you. I want to extend my deepest thanks to the Internet Archive for valuing and supporting these efforts. It is through partnerships like these that smaller nations like Aruba can ensure that our culture and history are preserved and accessible in the digital age. I'm pleased to have my colleague, our Minister of Finance and Culture, Mrs. Xiomara Maduro, present to accept this award on behalf of the people of Aruba. We are truly, truly grateful and very proud of this achievement. Thank you once again to the Internet Archive for this incredible honor, and congratulations to everyone involved in the Koleksiyong Aruba project. May this be a reminder of the importance of preserving our past as we move forward into the future. Let us continue to work together to celebrate and share Aruba's vibrant culture with the world.
Project that the Arubans here assembled or some were wondering what to do with their national archives as it was going digital, and they decided to make it available on the Internet Archive for long-term preservation and access. And we were absolutely thrilled when their whole national archives came online, the first country to ever do so. I had the honor of going back to Aruba and meeting with these wonderful folks, and there was a ribbon cutting, and they have this vision of bringing on more and more and islands and into the fold of doing this. Well, we thought we could do something for them. One is we're going to give them an award in 1 minute. But there's also something else, is we wanted to make it so that they would have their national archive digitally, but back on island. And so I don't know if there's a way of lighting that, but if you look in the back there, is there a way of turning on the... Scott's going to do it. Yep, there it is. That is the Aruba Collection live right now. That is going to be going back to Aruba, and they're going to continue to create more, put it on their servers, and they get synchronized here in the United States to make sure that long-term preservation and access, but also digital ownership goes back to Aruba. Shomara Maduro, who's the Minister of Culture and Finance of Aruba. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It is with immense honor and a heartfelt appreciation that I stand here tonight to receive this prestigious award. I sincerely thank the Internet Archive for this great honor in recognizing Aruba's hard work and efforts in preserving and making our cultural heritage accessible through Colección Aruba online platform. This award is significant encouragement for us to continue preserving our cultural identity and history. Together, we are not only safeguarding our heritage, but also empowering our community, both here and abroad. I also want to thank the incredible team of professionals dedication and vision for Colección Aruba has been instrumental in Aruba being honored with this prestigious award tonight. We are incredibly proud to accept this recognition on behalf of Aruba. Thank you for supporting our efforts to keep our rich cultural heritage alive and accessible for the present and the future generations. And as we say in our native language, Papiamento, Masha Masha Daki. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. To Aruba for their incredible work preserving their cultural heritage. At the Internet Archive, we also spend a lot of time thinking about preserving culture. And one of our favorite ways to do that is by preserving live music. So the Wayback Machine is probably the thing that we are best known for, but the second best thing that we are known for is Grateful Dead. Yes, exactly, Grateful Dead. We have over 17,000 live recordings of their shows, sanctioned by the band and available for everyone to enjoy on archive.org. Represent more than just music. They're living history, right? We have these recordings, and that's all thanks to the incredible papers of the Live Music Archive and the Eatery community. A taper is someone who records live events, like concerts, and shares them with fans. We've actually got a taper with us here tonight in the back. Hello, Oren. Thank you for being here. The Grateful Dead were one of the first bands to embrace tapers, allowing their fans to record concerts and share them freely. It was this spirit of openness that led to the creation of the popular collection we host today. The Live Music Archive now contains more than 250,000 live show recordings. Yeah, 7,000 different bands. All of it for free on archive.org because of the work of all of these tapers. The preservation of live music ensures
that future generations will have access to the cultural and musical experiences of the past. And tonight, we have a special treat for you. We are going to continue that tradition of keeping history alive by taping a live performance of a song that has been lost to time. Let's learn more about the power of preserving music through the lens of a musical archivist.
Here's a fun fact. There are thousands of songs that were somewhat popular less than 100 years ago that are now completely dead. By dead, I mean there are practically no recordings of the songs online or on CDs. But they do still exist as sheet music. So, by utilizing my late grandmother's extensive collection of sheet music, I bring these songs back to life by recording them. However, this song was actually sent in to me by a fan. And after doing some of my own research and sending it over to Steve Gardner, an expert in English folk songs, this is what we know about the song. It's an English sea song that was written and performed in the early 1800s. It was written by William Shield, who was an English composer, violinist, and violist, and was performed by Charles Ingleton, a Cornish tenor singer and one of the most prominent English singers of this time period. And to my knowledge, no recording of this song exists. So, without further ado, here's my performance of Tell Her I Love Her.
And here to record for the very first time ever a live version of Tell Her I Love Her is musician and viral video star Elliot Adkins.
Thank you all for having me. Anyway, here's a sea shanty. Tell her I love her while the clouds drop rain, while there is water in the pathless main. Tell her I love her till this life is o'er, then my ghost shall visit this sweet shore. Tell her I love her till this life is o'er, and then my ghost shall visit this sweet shore. Tell her I only ask she'll think of me. I'll love her while there's salt within the sea. Tell her all this and tell it o'er and o'er. I love her while there's salt within the sea. Tell her all this and tell it o'er and o'er. The anchors wait, or I would tell her more. So one of the cool things about this song is that it's actually part of the public domain. Which means that you're pretty much allowed to alter it however you want to. Maybe even change the lyrics. Kind of like this. Here we all are gathered to sing the same sea song. A song that may be old but is not yet gone. The past isn't dead till it can be read. Celebrate with us, speak of days of yore. Here we all are gathered to maintain what came before. So it isn't just my ghost that can visit this sweet shore. Here we all are gathered to sing the same sea song. A song that may be old but is not yet gone. Dead till it can't be read, 'cause someone will remember though the world may forget. Now I'm going to repeat this section and I invite you all to sing with me. Here we all are gathered to sing the Stacey song, a song that may be old but is not yet gone. The past isn't dead till it can be read, 'cause someone will remember though the world may forget. Here we all are gathered to sing the Stacey song, so thank y'all very much for singing right along.
We're talking about preservation, but after this, what you should do is stream outside. There's a live band. We've shut down the streets and we can dance in the streets. Isn't that why we came to San Francisco? So thank you very much for all of the love and support that we have received. And go out and preserve some more. Remember, Control, Alt, Save. Thank you.